And as always, thank you for tuning in into the Retail Investor Network channel. So today I will be sharing information and education on Sibanye-Stillwater. So the question I'll be providing education on is Sibanye a buy or a good buy? So in other words, I'm providing information on the reasons why is it a buy and information on the reasons why is it a good buy. Do I have to explain goodbye? Come on. Okay, so let's just get onto it. So the contents to be covered here on the slide is the company overview, Sibanye-Stillwater as it's in its almost whole entirety. And then I'll be providing the 5 reasons why is it a buy, and also the 5 reasons why it is a bye-bye. And then I'll be obviously concluding. And as always, this is not financial advice. I don't provide financial advice, even though like I majored in accounting, but I'm not offering any financial advice. This is just purely for educational purposes. I'm not suggesting that you should buy Sibanye-Stillwater or you should sell Sibanye-Stillwater. And also, I am not working for Sibanye-Stillwater. The information that I've gathered here, I found from the company's website and also from other websites that are reputable. So we are getting into the company overview. So Sibanye-Stillwater is a producer of PGMs. PGMs, as you can see, includes platinum, palladium, and rhodium. And as you can see from the right side of the slide, the sort of rock looking in the palms in a hand, that is the platinum, and the one on the right side of the platinum is the palladium, and the one at the bottom is the rhodium. And these products are mainly, I'm saying all of them, platinum, palladium, and rhodium, are mainly used as catalytic converters in cars, in sometimes in the exhaust pipe, to convert the toxins of the gas that is being emitted by the car into a much more healthy toxins for, I mean, not toxins, much more healthy air for the environment. And obviously, sometimes platinum is also used in jewelry, but I'm not providing education on minerals or natural minerals. So that's just the use of the PGMs. And Sibanye-Stillwater was established in 2013. It was unbundled from a company named Goldfields in 2013. So Goldfield decided no, they don't want to have their South African gold operations as under Goldfields. So they unbundled the gold operations and they formed Sibanye-Stillwater. Not Stillwater, it was Sibanye Gold at that time in 2013. And in 2017, Sibanye-Stillwater acquired a company in the United States called Stillwater Mining Company. And it also focuses on PGMs. And Sibanye rebranded itself. Instead of being Sibanye Gold, it became Sibanye-Stillwater after that acquisition in the United States. And obviously it's a South African company, and it's listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange and also the New York Stock Exchange. Currently in the South African, and I'm recording this podcast on the 20th. It's currently trading at about 30 rands, 31 rands in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, and in the New York Stock Exchange trading about $6 $7 in that range. And the major shareholders of Sibanye is the PIC. The PIC is the Public Investment Corporation. It's a government-owned entity. It's under the Minister of Finance. So in other words, the government owns a piece of Sibanye and it has about 13% ownership. And BlackRock is an investment firm, is an asset manager in the United States, and it has about 4% at Sibany-Stillwater. And Vanguard, also an investment bank, is an investment manager, is also a major shareholder in Sibany-Stillwater, and it has a stake of about 3%. That's it for the company overview, and I'm trying to make this short so that the video doesn't become long. And I see it's almost long now. Okay, let's get into the 5 reasons why Sibany-Stillwater is a buy, educationally speaking, not as an advice. So number 1, because of the catalytic converters. So obviously the world now is moving towards having clean air pollution, and as the United Nations always declares, clean climate, or because of climate change, so we must not pollute the environment. So cars that use fuel are required to have catalytic converters in order to minimize, as I've mentioned in the beginning, the toxins that are released from the combustion engines of car fuel using cars. So because of that, PGMs will be demanded because of the requirement of catalytic converters in cars that use fuel. And then secondly, the diversified product range of Sibanye-Stillwater. Sibanye-Stillwater does not only sell PGMs, but it also has gold, and it also has zinc. It also sells green materials, batteries, lithium, and I also mentioned zinc, and also silver. Yeah, it also has silver. So Sibanye-Stillwater's revenue making pool is wide and it's diversified. And thirdly, Sibanye-Stillwater is not only in South Africa. It does not only have operations in South Africa, but it also has operations in Australia, France, and the USA. So as I've mentioned, in the USA, it has the Sibanye-Stillwater Mining Company, which manufactures PGMs. And in Australia, it has a company whereby it manufactures zinc. And in France, it has a lithium project. Yeah, it has a lithium project in France where they manufacture batteries. And also in Finland, and also in some other parts of Europe. Yes. And then the dividend policy of Sibanye-Stillwater is between 25 and 35%. So the company aims to distribute normalized earnings, in other words, headline earnings from the core operations of the company, not including any other revenue they make on the side. Of those earnings, they're gonna distribute it as dividends to shareholders. So I think that's also a benefit. And also the share price. The share price of Sibanye-Stillwater you can buy Sibanye-Stillwater from the New York Stock Exchange, and you can also buy it from the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. And it's, I think, relatively cheap, to be honest, because if you had to compare it with the other gold miners like Anglo and Harmony, Sibanye-Stillwater is much more cheap. It's selling about 31 rands, and on the NYC, as I've said, it's selling about $6. Okay, those are the 5 reasons for a buy, and then we move into the 5 reasons for a good buy. So PGMs are cyclical. So what does that mean? It means that the price of PGMs are not set by the company, they are set by the market. So if the demand for platinum goes down, the price of platinum will also go down. So it's the same as with gold, because Sibanye also produces gold. So if the price of gold goes down, if the demand for gold goes down, the price of gold will also go down. So that is the meaning of cyclical. So the prices of these products that Sibanye sells, they are dependent on market movements. And the data ratio of Sibanye-Stillwater is about 1,86 is to 2. So in other words, Sibanye-Stillwater has 1 rand 86 cents debt compared to 2 rands equity. So what does that mean? It means that 93% of Sibanye-Stillwater operations are funded through debt, and that's sort of not a good position to be in. And it strikes unions and the South African government. And I think the tone is much more obvious because in the mining sector, there's a lot of unions, and there's a lot of government bureaucracies in terms of tax. Mining companies are not only charged tax based on, like, let's say, ordinary income tax. They also have extra taxes like the mining tax. So Sibanye-Stillwater is sort of in a not so good position in terms of its South African operations. And as I think recently now, there were miners locked in the mines, and like there was a lot of news when when it comes to mining companies. And now the planet of the EVs, which is the fourth reasons for a good buy, like EVs, electronical vehicles, are on the rise. And if the EVs are on the rise, it's gonna make fuel cars or cars that use gas less demanded. In other words, so if EVs are on the rise and cars that use fuel are less demanded, it means that PGMs, which are being sold by Sibanye-Stillwater, will also shrink in terms of demand. And I think that's clear because now electrical vehicles, they don't pollute the air. There's no combustion engines in electrical vehicles, I think. But they don't pollute air, they don't use fuel. They don't use fuel at all. So they don't pollute the air. And now, because there's not gonna be any need for them to have catalytic converters, then the demand for PGMs, platinum, palladium, and rhodium, will also go down, which is gonna affect Sibanye-Stillwater. And then the last reason is that the current CEO, which is Neil Froneman, will be retiring, and he has been with the company, I think, for almost 20 years or more than that. Yeah. So if there's a new CEO, and obviously the company will not just pick any CEO, like they will go around South Africa and go to Delft and just pick a CEO. Then no, the CEO will be obviously checked and put into process to check whether is this guy experienced to do the good work that is required to make the company profitable. It's just that you are not actually 100% sure that the new guy will be providing good we will ensure that the company is profitable. So there's that risk of change in terms of the company because the current CEO will be retiring in around September. I hope that has been very fruitful and helpful. I don't think there's anything to add on to that other than to say thank you so much. Yeah.